So we've joined by Dr. Subhash Salunkhe, who is right now the technical advisor of COVID-19 for the state Maharashtra, and he's been touring the most affected district since last few weeks, and that's the reason he's here with us, and we're gonna speak to him in length about why Maharashtra is seeing such an upsurge in COVID cases, and we're going to find out from him that what are his findings from the most affected districts. So, welcome to the Quint exclusive interview, Dr. Subhash Salunkhe. And the first question to you would be definitely that what are your findings and what is the unusual trend you've been seeing in all your observations?
My findings when I have visited both district Akola and Amravati, right from the most peripheral and rural area, semi-urban, urban area, and the district headquarters, there are two distinct things that are coming to our mind, and that is one is the number of cases doubling and tripling has taken place literally in 8 days, which is most unusual. Now, doubling time used to be something like what we used to call, say, month, 2 months, like that. And here is a situation where doubling time is occurring literally in 1 week or so. Number two, the number is so huge. Just to quote a concrete example, in city of Amravati, in an area where we have visited, we tested nearly 700 and odd number of people who were not necessarily showing all symptomatologies, but they were tested and 350 people turned out to be positive, which is giving nearly 50% positivity rate, which is very, very high. So these two are indicators that the transmission is taking place in a very rapid fashion in these areas. Number two, it is also seen that earlier it used to be one person in a family suffering and others were not to that extent affected. But in the present situation, entire families, if there are 4 people, all 4 are affected. If there are 6 or 7, 5 people are affected. That means the intensity of transmission within family is very, very high. And these two are giving us the idea that the transmission capacity of the virus has occurred or has heightened. Second point, even though the number is very high, the symptomatology indicates it is milder in nature. We have also not seen that the virulence has increased because we have not seen number of deaths going up significantly. That has not happened. That's a very positive point. So on negative side, number is increasing. On positive side, deaths are still similar. You can say case fatality is being seen. So this is the observation of the field, and it is now literally from Nagpur to Aurangabad, and it is seen also in Nashik. So I personally feel in the next 8-10 days, this will happen in most of the parts of the Maharashtra.
So what do you think is the reason behind it? Because the positivity rate of Maharashtra, especially the districts in Vidarbha, Marathwada, and cities like Mumbai, Pune, Nashik, we've seen the positivity rate doubling within a week.
There are 2-3 reasons, as we epidemiologists call this is epidemiological triad, agent, host, environment. There appears to be definite changes in the agent, that is virus. It appears the host means those who are already having virus or those who are likely to be a potential, recipient of the virus. So unfortunately, it is only the human beings. Now what has happened in the entire state because of few reasons. One is marriage season. The marriage season is seeing more than couple of 100 marriages in a given city. And for these marriages, even the government guidelines indicate that should be not more than 50 people, nobody bothers about it. We have thrown the standard operative procedures or standard guidelines of COVID appropriate behavior in a dustbin. Nobody uses masks, people come together, no hand washing practices. So in a nutshell, we have consciously decided to insult the virus. And this virus is giving us wonderful response by indicating to us that I am going to punish you. So host factors are responsible for heightened transmission. Agent factor appears to be also responsible And environment, as far as which is not a very significant one, but it may play a role. Say in Vidarbha, we have seen there is the difference between the maximum and minimum temperature. In the night, you will find temperature dropping down. In the daytime, it is going up, and the difference is more than 8 to 10 degrees. Now, this variation and this situation is definitely known for helping the viral multiplication. So all these factors interplay is increasing the number of cases in the state of Maharashtra. And unless we break this chain, it will not only increase, it can go to the explosive nature if we do not intervene, and that intervention is now obligatory. There is no choice. You have no discretion now. You don't have choice. Either you take action or face the music.
Sir, as per some of the recent reports, virologists have been quoted saying that there is this new variant which is similar to UK or South African countries. Are the reason behind such a surge or the increased transmissibility in the state? So, is it coming from the Maharashtra? What are your findings?
I think we cannot at this stage give a concrete opinion because, one, the studies which are preliminary in nature done in BJ Medical College Pune are indicating that this is neither a UK variant nor it has come from the South Africa or Brazilian, but it is indigenous variant. And there are some mutations which are linked to the Andhra variety. However, because of this situation, all the districts which are highly affected have submitted samples in sufficient number to National Institute of Virology in Pune and also other institute in ICAR Institute in Pune to conduct thorough virological studies of these virus, which will clearly bring out one, what type of mutation, whether number one, whether mutation has taken place, what type of, is it envelope mutation, is it spike mutation, where it is happened and to what extent, and what are the implications, whether it is resulting into increase in the transmissibility, which happens to be from the epidemiological data, and whether it is also impacting the virulence. So all these results are likely to be available in a span of next 3-4 days or maximum 1 week from NIV, and then we will be able to concretely opine, and not only opine, that will also decide the strategy changes.
Sir, how effective will be the current vaccination drive if at all we find some new strains in these findings in these laboratory testings?
It will depend upon what type of, if at all there is a mutation, it will depend on what type of mutation. Today, these two vaccines which are available with us, Covaxin and Covishield, I personally feel at this stage, if the mutation is not that significant, both these vaccines will be effective. And certainly, these vaccines will be giving us a protection, and we are pushing that we should vaccinate as many people as possible, as early as possible. That will be, see, if we increase the number of people taking vaccine, we are increasing the herd immunity, which is vaccine-based herd immunity, which is better than the natural infection, which is not that kind of very useful. So this is very important, and so the timings are extremely critical. If we vaccinate large number of people in next few weeks or maximum month or two, we'll be doing a great service. In case something goes wrong terribly and this virus gets mutated and its antibody, the antibody prepared, the antibody stimulated due to this vaccine will not be able to catch this or neutralize this virus, that means that vaccine will be as good as useless. So we have a very small window wherein we as the nation must quickly start vaccinating people as many as possible.
Sir, how satisfactorily the current vaccination rate and the genome sequencing is going on in the state? The scale, what I'm talking about is.
Genome sequencing, I am happy that both these institutions are competent, and Government of India has given complete, you can say, freedom to the state to access other laboratories also. So there is no problem. But as far as the vaccination part is concerned, I am really not very happy with the way my own colleagues, doctors, nurses, and others, are taking. In many other states, the vaccination is nearly 85-90%. We want to also reach that, and also the non-healthcare workers, they also need to be vaccinated in sufficient number. That's where we need to convince them. Advocacy needs to be done. And I can always with confidence say that I have taken the vaccine. First dose. Tomorrow is going to be my booster dose or second dose. And I am not only did not suffer any adverse events or adverse reaction, it gave me a definite confidence. When I went to Amravati, Akola, which are such a high transmission, I am 74. Now at this age, to go to such areas because of vaccination, and obviously more than the vaccination, I take all basic precautions or follow COVID norms. So I think both things together, vaccination plus COVID appropriate behavior, if we join it together, we can defeat this virus, definitely.
Yes, sir. So the last question I would like to ask that maybe every one of us want to know that will there be a lockdown imposed in the state in the next few days because the CM has warned so.
Obviously, it will depend on the people themselves. Like CM very nicely in his own typical style, he said, those who want to have lockdown, please do not follow COVID norms. Those who do not want to have a lockdown, please follow COVID norm. So if majority follow the COVID appropriate behavior, there is no lockdown. If majority do not follow that, there's bound to be lockdown. If in next 10 days or fortnight, if the intensity with which transmission is taking place in the Maharashtra, if it doesn't come down, lockdown is inevitable, no choice. So people, and as I said, that three people themselves, the administrative system, and the leaders of the people who are supposed to be leading the communities as public representative. If all three come together, put their might, there is no need for lockdown. But if people do not behave responsibly, lockdown is inevitable.
So I guess our viewers from Maharashtra should listen to this very carefully that if not followed guidelines very strictly, there will be a lockdown. And thank you, Doctor, for joining with us and elaborating on this very pertinent issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.